All right, let's see. Good morning. Good morning. Let me see. Let me check my stream real quick. Make sure that I'm up and running. Unmute my channel. All right, there we go. I can hear myself, which means, unfortunately, you can hear me too. All right, so we're just waiting for Shiggles to get on. Um, this is a different time for the podcast, but I'm going to be out of town this upcoming weekend. And I don't know yet how next weekend is shaping up. So I figured we needed to try and get Ash show in before then. We weren't on last weekend, so this would be a chance to get caught up on what we've been working on over the last couple weeks, what problems we faced, any kind of new information that we've come across in our research. And Actually, I have a thought process. If there's anyone who's watching who wants to weigh in and help me make a decision, that would be great. Okay. Um, while I'm waiting, let me go ahead and mention that the podcast is, if for those people who want to listen to it versus watching it on YouTube, or even live when we're doing it here on Twitch, you can in fact listen to it on iHeartRadio podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Prime Podcasts. So any one of those four, once the once we cut it up and put it on there for audio, it will be available in that way as well. Not to mention, if you are one of the people who watches this on YouTube, one of the things that we haven't gotten a lot of, and even though we've gotten a bunch of views on the shorts that are related to these, I would love it. I mean, I would absolutely love it if we could get, some comments. How are we doing? Is it interesting? Was there subject matter that, was more interesting than something else? Um, in general, where are our strengths and our weaknesses? Because that will help us to refine and shape what we're doing. Um, Not to mention likes. Likes are always welcome, and subscriptions because they're free. Not subscribing on Twitch. I mean, obviously that costs money. I'm talking about on YouTube. YouTube subscriptions are free, but between likes, subscriptions, and reminders of when we're going to be on, those things help us to attract additional people. It's my understanding that's how it works. Granted, fairly new to the space as far as like trying to get people to watch it, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, it'd be great if we could get people to weigh in on that. Now, I'm confident at some point Shiggles will be on. You may notice the background is again different, but it's a work in progress. Okay, it's still not in its final form. There's more to come. I just haven't figured it out yet. And my ObSpot hand tracking apparently just came on. Let's turn that off. We don't want hand tracking. No, we don't. Okay, I want to raise that back up because I mean, there's a reason I hung this stuff up on the wall. I would like to show it. There we go. Okay, that's better. Oh my goodness. What? It's been a couple weeks. Let me tell you, it has been a couple weeks. Um, when we do get Shiggles with us, I actually decided to try something out, and so far it has worked amazing. It's my own personal hack that I am applying to everything I do now with my 3D printers, and I can't say that I would recommend doing anything different because I haven't come across any negative side to it yet. Um, but I don't want to talk about it more than once, so we'll just wait for him to hop on. I just went ahead and I saw this synthwave overlay, and I really kind of dig it. If anyone likes it, doesn't like it, let me know because that would also, help me make up my mind. Personally, I think it looks great. I guess I could, while I'm waiting, make an announcement on my Discord that we're live. Oh man, injured my shoulder a couple weeks ago, and it has not improved the way I'd hoped. But we're getting through it best we can. Where is my Discord anyway? There it is. Okay. Uh, Let's see. I guess I should go to promote your stream. Yep. Live on Twitch. Prince and Giggles podcast. Do the link. There we go. All right. So I noticed some streamers on Twitch this past week have started getting the 1440p enhanced broadcasting, which is awesome. But apparently, I have not gotten that yet. I've requested multiple times, but maybe I'm too small. I don't know. Hey, there he is. Giggles. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, there he is. Okay.
Change the microphone setting. I had to do so much. All my stuff got reset basically to default here. Not OBS, but microphone settings and Discord and my lights. I think I had a power surge at some point.
Oh, that's always fun.
Yeah. Yeah, especially whenever I turned on like my white lights for me, and it was like, oh, they were at half brightness, I think, and stuff, and they were a warm color temperature, and I was like, oh no.
No.
Something has happened.
Yeah, I like to keep mine as close to daylight or pure white as possible.
Yeah, they have a really nice built-in setting for daylight, which is cool. So I don't have to adjust that, but it's like for some reason I think warm is their default.
Mm-hmm.
And so if they're on that, it's like, oh shit, not only is that, but then also I had their brightnesses like dialed up so that they weren't super bright, but they were decent.
I see the logo.
Come on, OBS. Start.
You're on what's it called? Oh, there we go. Okay, I see you now.
Yeah. And I'll probably have to brighten myself up a little bit here. I assume.
All right, I need to resize you because I changed a few things again, but I think we're getting closer to final form.
Always fun.
All right, let's see. So I'm gonna make that bigger.
Oh crap. Gotta change my stuff here.
You're coming in a little fuzzy on my stream, but you're coming in clear on my dashboard. So maybe I must have a delay on my side, some kind.
Or the Twitch collab thing is just being weird.
Oh yeah, it could be that too. I mean, because you are perfectly clear on the dashboard.
Come on. Podcasts. That's the. There it is. Talk shows and podcasts. There we go.
There we go.
I updated my information successfully. All right.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I put off like for several weeks. I remember it was like I was getting that little pop up about a new version of OBS, and I kept putting it off. And I did update, and it changed a few minor things, but for the most part, I think it's okay.
Yeah, the I noticed this synthwave overlay um on Nerd or Die, so I went ahead and put that in my background because it just goes with everything that I try to do all the time.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! So let's see. It has been at least 2 weeks since we were on. Um, the last time that let's see, I'm trying to remember. I did show off. I think I only had like 3 or 4 prints last time, and I don't have that many more than last time. But some of them are far more intricate than the last ones that I put up.
Nice.
And I'm working on printing out things that are specifically on my web store, on the Etsy store. And I'm hoping at some point in the next week and a half to have an Amazon store up and running also.
Oh, okay.
But I wanted to talk about Etsy and their 3D printing sales policies. It has become a bit of a talking point for a lot of creators over the last week. I don't know if you saw it in any YouTube videos, but there are people completely misinterpreting the policies. So I figured we'd go ahead and talk about it a little bit.
Now I haven't seen any Etsy related drama.
All right, good. So this is good. This will be good information. Also, I have a little bit of a hack for my Centauri Carbon, and I think you should pay attention to it since you're going to have one on the way.
Yeah, I got one ordered.
Okay. But before we do that, let's go ahead and show off some prints that we've done over the last 2 weeks. So do you want to go first and then I'll go, or what do you want to do?
Sure, I can go first. I have one giant print that has been coming along. So I got a bunch of pieces.
This the one for your father-in-law?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was hoping to have this done, of course, for Father's Day, but
well, Father's Day next year is on the way.
Yeah. But like for the model itself is the one that I bought from Game Body.
Right.
And their customer service is really great. And just like to recap a little bit is I actually asked them for some advice on how to cut down some of these parts because they're just a little bit too big for the A1 Mini.
Too big for the A1 Mini? Are you sure?
Yeah, even though on paper and as advertised by Bamboo Lab, they should not be too big for the A1 Mini because the saucer sections, it cuts the saucer into 5 chunks that you put together. And like I didn't have too much of a trouble. Like this is the main body that I've glued together. This should have come out with the exception of like this little ringed piece, this end cap. This should have been one piece. But it was also a little bit too tall. So I had to cut it and then glue it together there. So I've got that. And that's like where the deflector array goes, which I had to reprint because I snapped the antenna off of it. And
oh my God, that happens so easily with some of this stuff. I've reprinted a few things because of that.
Completely absentmindedly was pulling supports off of it. And I just went to like brace it on the back with my thumb to peel one off and just like completely... I don't know why. Just like I spaced the fact that it has this fragile like thing on the back of it, and I just pushed directly on it. So I reprinted that though, but I have all of the parts printed, and this is a little back end of it. So you get the pins in it that they actually, they make it so that because this was supposed to be 2 pieces so that you can like put lights inside of it and stuff.
Right.
So it's got like the little shuttle dock on the back.
Oh, did you have you looked into ordering those lights I sent you?
I already did. I ordered them. They came in, so I've got the light kit.
Nice.
Oh yeah, and this is like I'm going to paint it a slightly different color, but this is like the little shuttle dock, so it can rotate closed.
Does it actually rotate?
Yeah,
manually.
So I can put them. Yeah, you'll have to do it like manually.
Okay, but it's still a moving part. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's still cool. So it'll like kind of sit in the back, and then
I can see it.
Oh, nice. And then you can rotate it shut. And then it has a tiny little shuttle that goes in there too,
Oh wow.
which I have also printed. He might have been the one.
I can only remember the names of the shuttles from the from Deep Space Nine. I can't remember the names of any of the ones from the original series.
Yeah, they even had like the model number and stuff for it, which was pretty cool. And then I've got the nacelle pieces, and the nacelles I felt comfortable cutting like the main body because it's just one big piece.
Right.
I felt like I could cut that, and also the shell on it is relatively like it's a little bit thicker than this, like as it comes up to the midpoint.
Yeah.
So I felt like I could put connectors in there. So I do have like some little stubby connectors to kind of keep the seams lined up.
Okay.
Because I didn't want to just do butt cuts, that you then have to like really carefully hold together. And I was able to do that with this nacelle as well. So I already glued this tube of it together, but this is 3 pieces instead of 2, because again, it was like the normal seam of it that they had in the models, like right around here.
Yeah.
So this piece would detach, but then this piece was too tall for my printer as well. So it got cut in half, and then I had to put it together. And then again, so that you can put lights and stuff inside of it, this goes on the end.
Right.
It's like your tail piece.
The tail piece, right.
Oh, man. Hang on. I got a new follower together here. And I'll see all these are chamfered together so well. Thank you, Roho, both, for following. I appreciate it. Oh. Welcome to the podcast.
Oh, it's not doing a shared chat. That's unfortunate.
Oh,
I didn't see that. No, it's not showing a shared chat. Let's see.
But it's got it's got these chamfered edges in it. And this is every piece that they make that you're supposed to put together has this, I don't know if chamfer is the right word, but where they'll nest inside of each other. So it has like a supported structure the entire way around. So it really hides seams super well.
That's going to look fantastic once it's painted.
Yes. So what I was doing is I was trying to cut the saucer pieces, because the saucer pieces, I think, had been cut already with smaller printers in mind. So if you actually measure it on the build plate, because I used the measure tool in the slicer, they're like 179 millimeters tall. So technically, it should work on a Bamboo A1 Mini, because they advertise it as a 180.
Okay, I got you.
But in Bamboo Studio is what I used to slice for it and everything. I went to go slice those parts, and they always tell you that they are too big, that they are outside the build area, and you have to correct it. And because of that, like in Bamboo Studio, when it says it's too big, it just will not let you do anything else. So you can't just like roll the dice and print it and see how far up it goes or anything.
Right.
It just won't let you do it. So you're locked out. So I actually wrote the Game Body guys a customer service message, because I wanted to see if they could tell me how to, like if there was a tool or something or a template they could send me,
right,
so that I could cut the saucer into slightly smaller pieces, but still have this edge that they put on there that makes them nest together so neatly. Because the saucer pieces, they cut out kind of like this. So it's like you have this whole profile, of the edge of it.
Right.
And in here, it has like the same thing where it's like, it's got that edge so that it nests.
I can see that, yeah.
And it follows the entire profile. So it's like, well, if I do that, I put those in my cuts, they would nest together better, because I feel like 5 pieces is already a lot to assemble, like the saucer section. And I was looking at, I have 1 piece that actually was small enough to print, but the other 4 I was going to have to cut. So I would end up with 9 pieces to make the saucer.
Okay.
Because I had to cut them like I had to cut this guy. This was 1 piece, but I had to like cut off this edge of it because it just wouldn't come out. Oh. But I don't have the ability to do those chamfered edges, So like my cuts, when I do the cut in the slicer, it's just this butt cut, because it's also too thin, where I've printed out a couple of pieces with like little connector pegs. Mm-hmm. But the negative side of the connector, when I print it, it always ends up deformed. Like it's too small to really keep its shape. So it doesn't actually end up big enough for the other connector part to nest in.
And that's
which is really frustrating.
That's going to make it hard to glue too without those
Yeah, and because it's such a big, because it's a big area, to try and maintain that finish on, and it was like, well, if I at least had connectors or something, to keep this traced in,
Mhm.
that would help it. So I was going to see if they could give me some pointers or maybe a template for like, can I make that like nested edge? And instead, they wrote back and were just like, hey, give us the name of the files that you need cut. And they were going to have their modeling team cut them and send me the revised files. And I thought, that's awesome. So at least they'll all be nested cuts.
They are a fantastic website. I'm so glad I
They
found them.
are.
Oh my God.
And I think I'm going to follow up with them. I haven't emailed them back again because I felt bad badgering them. I felt like I was badgering them, right?
Are they done yet?
It has been almost 3 weeks since they told me that they were going to do that. And I haven't gotten the files yet. So it's like, I kind of want to be like, hey, is that,
No, just do a friendly check-in. I wanted to see if I could, just get the progress on that, because I would love to get, working on putting that together.
Yeah, because I've got, of all of the body parts, like I have everything printed except for the saucer that needs painted. And then I've got my new airbrush that I haven't been able to open yet because I keep getting drafted to work, and I've worked some 12s trying to get ahead of the drafting, and it's not working. I'm still getting drafted a lot. But I've got like all the detail pieces are printed out. I've even got my clear PLA in, and this is like one of the little end caps.
Ooh, look at that. Wow.
So it's clear-ish, but it kind of has that like frosted effect to it. So I was like, well, that's actually good.
Actually, it's going to look great with the light behind it.
Yeah, so it'll diffuse the lighting, because I was thinking before I had printed them off, I was like, if it does turn out super clear,
you're going to see
I'll probably have to, and I was like, I'll probably have to like really thin some white paint out really, really thin and try and kind of put it in there for a frosted effect. But they print out all like this, where it's like you can kind of see some layer lines. I might sand it a little bit like at the top just to,
I could see that,
smooth it out, but it's like, well, and then the inside from the support's kind of a little bit rough.
But then again,
but with light in it, I don't think that'll show up.
Even if the layer lines are there, it's going to give a prism effect that might be absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know that you didn't necessarily need to sand that. Well, I mean, it's all personal preference too. What do you want it to look like? But I mean, I might light it up first and test it to see how it looks, and then make the decision on sanding. But one thing you definitely don't want to do is polish it, because if you polish it, it'll go clear. I've seen that before.
Yep, and I definitely want the diffused look, because it's got like that's the cap for like, I think the bottom side of the saucer. It's going to have a light, and then it's got all these detailed pieces too.
Aren't there like open window, like port looking things that allow light to go through?
There's a ton of them, like on the side of the body and on the side of everything that's exterior. It does have this texture kind of look where some of these like window pieces are completely hollow, like they're all the way through, and some have like various different thicknesses of wall behind them. So there'll be different.
Some of them will look like brighter rooms and dimmer rooms.
Yeah,
that is fantastic.
Yep. So I'll basically just kind of spiral around or put in the middle here like a strand, I think. And then that should do that effect. But all the ones that are completely cut out, they do have clear pieces that are supposed to fit in there. I don't know if they're going to work. So, because look how small they are. Like, to get little pieces of like that clear print that go into these little spots, I don't know how well that's going to turn out, but I'm going to try it.
Couldn't you do a long strip and then just, put it over all of them?
That's potentially, I could do that. Yeah, if they don't work out as like little individual pieces, I could just try making a shape.
Yeah, I mean,
in the clear.
I'm thinking just practically, if you did like just a rounded edge, that you could place onto the, roughly matching the angle, okay, and that way it just covers multiple windows, and it won't matter. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe it just activated again. I have to keep turning off the tracking. Okay.
It loves it.
It does. It really does. Okay. Regardless. So yeah, that's awesome. The great thing though, from what I'm picturing in my head, is the just the fact that it's there, because you have the different levels of wall thickness, it won't matter that you have the clear behind it. Okay. Because it's just on the open windows where the clear will make any kind of a difference. But on top of that, even with the open windows, you won't be able to see the inside of the fuselage. If you cover them up, it'll still be just diffused light, you know?
Yeah.
So it'll keep from seeing the inside of the model, which right now, if you were to light it up, you'd see the inside of the model.
Yeah.
So, it might be worth it just to do that.
Yeah, I figured like worst case scenario too. It's like if I absolutely can't get the clear PLA to work in that, like with little printed pieces, I could also just use like a paper stock or something and just kind of put it in just so that you can't see inside. Something to just block the view that doesn't.
I got something for you. Hang on a second. Let me show you. All right, let me get my ears back in real quick. But I actually, something that I'm working on for myself for another project. Okay. But this right here is diffusion film. Okay.
Oh, very nice.
Okay. And it comes in long rolls. I have a guillotine style slicer that I'm going to be using to actually cut it instead of scissors so that I get the nice even cuts. But nice. This, instead of, like, if you're concerned about whether or not the plastic's going to work or you can't get the plastic to work, this is a solution. Okay. So
yeah.
I'm working on a large area that I'm trying to diffuse, and that's why I got this. Okay. And it's a pretty good size roll. Here, let me back it up. There we go. So you can see.
Oh, yeah. It's way more than I would need.
Well, yeah, no, but I mean, you can use it for tons of different projects. And it was not expensive at all. I think it was like, I don't know, 10 or 12 bucks, something like that. Okay.
Did you get that online or did you buy it at a hobby store?
I got it on Amazon. Come on.
Okay. I suppose.
Since you mentioned Game Body, I'm going to show a Game Body print that I did. Okay.
Ooh, okay.
So we have Darth Malgus here.
Oh, very nice.
Okay.
The completed Malgus.
Detail came out absolutely awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The only real layer lines showing are right on the dome. Okay.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I mean, it came out crisp and clean and beautiful. Oh my goodness. And oddly enough, I don't know when it happened, but there was a failure on the back right here. But I'm going to use I have a soldering gun. I'm going to use that and melt it and make it look like battle damage. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to lean into it. It didn't finish properly. The front came out so beautiful. I'm just going to make the back on both sides look like he's taken battle damage, maybe from a cross cut of a lightsaber or something. So it'll look like it's burned in and melted. But I don't know. In general, this thing just so nice.
Super very clean. Nice.
It is going to get painted at some point, but since I'm going out of town this week, it's not happening this week. Okay. But I had to show that off because it's been sitting in the closet behind me on the shelf for the 2 weeks since, because it was printing the night we did the last podcast and just wasn't done.
I remember that.
Yep. Yeah. So, but it came out so nice.
I just wanted to show this real quick here.
Yeah.
So this is the bridge.
Oh, stop it. Okay, I see the captain's chair right in the middle. Oh my god, that is so cool.
Focus, Obsbot.
I don't. Oh, there you go. It's in focus.
Kind of goes. Yeah.
Oh, and you see the crew members sitting at the control panels.
And there's there's a view screen in the front. Well,
right,
a little bit hard to see, but yeah.
That's where they get off the elevator. Oh my god, that is crazy.
And it's made so that like it has a little cap on it as well and stuff. But I think those pieces I will leave unglued. So just in case, if you want to, and I'm going to try and paint, it's going to be really hard. I'm going to try and paint those like so the seats at least are a different color and the consoles. Because I do have some really tiny brushes. So I'm going to give it a whirl. And if I can make it look even like kind of halfway good, I think I'll leave that.
I would say
so you can remove the top.
The easiest thing for you to do, depending on what color you feel like the bridge should be, whether you want gray or some kind of a tan or something like that, would be to spray the majority of the bottom and some of the risers inside that color. Use your airbrush for that. Then go in and do detail work with the color. So you have a base coat that is even throughout, covering what you want. And then you do the detail on top of it, and you'll get your individual colors. You know, that's just my recommendation, but that's what I would do. Like the original
sounds
show,
like a good idea.
The original show, if I remember correctly, it's been a while since I've watched it, but the bridge was mostly gray, and the captain's chair was like red and gray, and I think the two pilots' chairs were either blue or something like that. So, I mean, you could do that. You could go Next Generation style, where everything was tan, okay, and mauve, and just go from there. But I mean, there, and then of course with the screens, I don't know if you have a printer. I don't have a printer anymore, but you could always do little stickers with the screens and displays, you know, because they have images that you could shrink down and then print them out and just put them in place, so it looks like there's stuff on the screens.
I could try that. Yeah,
it would be wild. You know, it'd be, oh my god. Just thinking out loud, and you don't have to do this, but for your view screen, get Khan, okay, and actually put it right on the main view screen. That would be insane.
That is a pretty good idea. Yeah, I'll see if I can actually print something like that small and have it look decent.
Yeah, I mean, if you
I just have a little inkjet printer, so we will try.
That's fine. I mean, you just get your caliper, you measure the screen out to see how big it is, and then shrink it down to the right size, and then either paste it or, you know, whatever in place. That could be so much fun and look amazing.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because at the very least, like the main view screen is big enough that I think you'd be able to tell. It's just like, yeah, and I'll figure out something maybe I'll try something too for the little console tops. Those are super tiny, but it's like, you know, that's a good idea. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of like stupid detail I would go into it, and then I would skip other details completely.
And skip other. Yeah, what I like about this too is like they have the embossed like or raised like stuff that I'm gonna be painting, like all the little stuff on the sides.
Yeah,
it's like it's kind of raised and detailed, so it's like I have a very clear path of like, oh, this I need to paint my accent color, you know?
Absolutely, yeah.
Or on the engines, they have a bunch. I've got like a ton of these like pieces like this that are just detail pieces. So it's like they're gonna get painted the darker accent color and then get glued on. And then the actual like main body of the nacelle, pretty much I just have to airbrush one color. And then a lot of the detail is going to be those glued pieces or the little raised pieces that I can just go back after I've airbrushed and put on, you know, with a brush really carefully. We'll see how that turns out. But yeah, I've got like the exception of the saucer. I've got everything else printed. It's all just in pieces waiting for paint. And I've got like, well, the nacelle pieces I've got assembled a little bit. These guys too, like little end caps, they're going to be red. But I got to thin it out too, so that these don't get like super covered in paint. They need a light coat because I want these to like glow pretty good.
Yeah, I can see
with the light behind them, because it's really thin in between the fins, you know. So it's like if I thin the red out, I think that should give me a nice color.
Well, you're going to want to thin it out anyway for your airbrush. It's always recommended, even with airbrush paint, that you put thinner into it just so that it flows better.
Yeah.
But the level of thickness is going to be completely up to you.
Yeah, I'm going to try pretty thin on the red at first with that one, just because I don't want to cover up any of the light. And then I figure I can hit it really light with the airbrush. And then if I like it, but there's still, I want like the fins themselves to look kind of darker because they're solid, I can always just go back with a brush and paint the tops of those with another coat and just leave all the slices cut out, you know, with that super thin stuff on them so that they glow.
Makes sense.
But I got to rig up, you know, I've got some of the pieces of the nacelle and the body are together, like as far as I want to go. And then I've got like the struts printed out. So they're not super thick in the middle, but you know, I should be able to run my lights through there. And then I've got them prefabbed sort of enough together where it's like, okay, I want to get them their base coat of paint. And then I think I'm going to start running lights into the nacelles and get that connected to the body. So then I at least have like the main structure kind of done and with its lights in it. And then I can kind of adjust from there. Like, what do I need for accent, like on those red tops of the nacelles? Do I need to change that, or do I need to do something with their caps? Because they also have a clear cap that goes on the end of them,
right,
that I've printed out. So those I might do like a little more post-processing on to make them slightly clearer, so that if it's not lit up, you can still see a little more detail in them and stuff. But it's like fine-tuning stuff that I'm going to try and get some of that done this coming week. I already have my weekend, unfortunately, like completely booked out because I have to work Saturday. And I'm also helping my dad with more yard work. His backyard gate kind of rotted away.
Oh,
The whole post that holds the hinges is toast. It's like falling apart. So I'm going to go dig out a post and redo a fence line and do a bunch of crap.
that sounds like so much fun.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Especially since I've got, well, me and my wife have been playing Dune Awakening.
Oh, how is that?
I'm liking it. It's definitely more difficult than I thought it would be for just like an MMO game. It's kind of unforgiving, which fits, I guess, with the Dune universe, you know. At the same time, it's hard to survive out there in the desert. I've only been eaten by a sandworm once, which was enough for me. Because it is brutally unforgiving in that if you do get eaten by the sandworm, it's not like, oh, you just respawn and you keep your inventory. No, you're toast. It's anything you had on you is lost.
Oh wow. Okay.
So that's your gear and anything in your inventory. It's just totally gone. And I was kind of stuck in a weird spot where all my respawn locations were pretty far from where I needed to be. Because I didn't use the tools that were given to you to make that stuff less painful. I remember my wife going, "You didn't put a respawn beacon down?" I was like, "No, I did not. Actually, I was." We were kind of in like transitioning,
makes a ton of sense when you bring it up now, but
yeah, it's like, well, I didn't expect to be eaten by the sandworm, you know. Yeah, it's like
information that would have been helpful yesterday.
Yeah, it's fun. It's definitely, it leans kind of heavy into the survival aspect, which I don't think I've played an MMO that's really survival heavy before. So that was kind of interesting. But yeah, so far I'm liking it. I mean, I think I've gotten my money out of it so far. It's worth $50, and there's no subscription for it, which is great.
I'm actually
so we're just
excited.
Kind of fooling around in there.
When it comes to games, Game Pass just announced that, I think while I'm out of town, so I won't be able to do anything until I get back. But on the 26th, the original Warcraft chest, the Warcraft 1, 2, and 3, they're all going to be on Game Pass for PC. And being a like a true RTS fan that I am, okay, I loved the first Warcraft. Okay, absolutely loved it. So much so when World of Warcraft came out, I didn't know what an MMO RPG was. So I actually tried to play it, and I was like, "What the hell is this? I don't like this.
Yeah,
this is not what I want to play."
Yeah, that is a wildly different game. That's great. You see, and the thing is, when I was introduced to Warcraft, it was World of Warcraft. I had never played the Warcraft RTS games.
Oh my God.
So then it wasn't until I think like a year in or something, and I watched something on Warcraft 3, and I was like, oh, this is why so many people were like really pissed off at first about like the changes. I was like, because this is not, it has the same story and characters and stuff, but really, I mean, that was the only thing that kind of poured it over. It's like, this is a totally different game.
Yeah, I mean, I was really lost when the game first came out. But the great thing was that not long before the game came out, Command and Conquer had just released Red Alert, and I had just gotten really into that. So I was like, that's fine. You know what? Keep your Warcraft. I'm just going to play Red Alert. And then I played Red Alert, Red Alert 2, and Red Alert 3. And that satiated my RTS until, well, actually then Generals came out. And then Westwood was bought by EA, and EA flushed, a quality studio right down the toilet and ruined everything. Yeah. So, as they do. But you know what? We're not talking about video games, okay? At least not in the beginning. We need to get back onto the 3D printing track. So what else do you have?
For prints, that is it. That's
Oh,
been
'cause you-
working on the big
You
print
got the
project.
big project going, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So,
But for other, well, did you have other prints you need to show off?
I actually do have a few. Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
You're gonna like this one. This one also needs painting. Everything. I haven't painted anything. Okay, but so there's this one.
Oh, very cool.
Okay, found it on Maker World. Super clean. However, when I was taking off the supports, I didn't realize at the time, but I had ripped off one of the pipes right here.
Oh, okay.
And so I went to the other side and just ripped it off on purpose so that it would match. Because I didn't like that there were 3 on this side and only 2 over here. So like, you know what? The hell with it. I just ripped that thing off so that it's nice and even on both sides. But the detail came out nice and clear, nice and even. Okay.
Very nice.
I'm going to paint the eyes red. I'm going to put in some shadowing to give depth to it. But that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, very cool.
One of the things I'm going to start trying to feature is trying to print out stuff that I have in my store. And I've taken all the Hue Forges, not the Hue Forge, the Hue Forges out because nobody's bought them. No one, I don't even know that anyone's even paid attention to them. So I went ahead and I canceled all of the subscriptions I had to those artists. Not that I don't appreciate their work, I really do. I mean, some of them were absolutely amazing, but if they're not selling and I'm spending money on it, there's no point. So I'm leaning into the STL flicks, and I came across this thing which I thought was absolutely cool and gorgeous. Okay, so what do you think this is?
That looks like paint dripping or something, or blood.
I like to think of it as like bubble gum. Okay, but
bubble gum.
Yeah, like it's stuck to something.
Oh, it could be.
Okay, now if I do this.
Oh, very nice. Oh, that's cool.
Let me tell you something. When I saw this, I was like, dude, I got to print that. And that is going in the store. And it is, in fact, live in the store right now. Okay.
Nice.
I printed it in Purple Galaxy PLA, but I actually just got a ton of bamboo silks in because I've actually found that the bamboo silks print so butter smooth compared to the Sunlu stuff that I was trying to use and the other silks that I had tried that all failed. Using the bamboo silks in the bamboo printer, I have not had a single failure yet. They've been absolutely gorgeous. But I did this one in the Galaxy PLA on the Centauri Carbon, okay? And it came out absolutely perfect, and it looks so nice with the headset on it.
Yeah.
So I'm actually calling it a bubblegum headphone stand. And that's on there.
It's a great idea because it's like most of the headphone stands you see are either just like a really basic hook or like a little head, and the variety would be nice, you know?
I mean, it gives you a chance to truly personalize your space, right? You know, so
yeah.
Then on Game Body, I had actually bought this stuff a long time ago when I first discovered the site because they were on sale, but didn't have the guts to print them out because every mask I had printed out up to this point, up until the point when I did this guy back here, which I'll show in a little bit, had like the supports didn't want to come off properly and everything was really rough. Nothing was smooth and nice. I mean, couldn't get anything to work right. Then once that came out so nice, I decided, you know what? Let's go ahead and we'll do a Bane.
Very nice.
Okay. Which came out absolutely gorgeous. Okay. We're going to paint the piping in silver. And I'm going to do like some sort of a brown up here for the, or a rust maybe. For the connectors. Okay. So hopefully not by next weekend, which I'm not sure if we're doing it next weekend or not. I guess it depends on when I get back. But somewhere in the next couple episodes, these are all going to be painted. There's also a Sub-Zero.
Well, very cool. Yeah.
Okay. And it has this like black filter insert. Okay.
Oh, nice.
So it doesn't show the mouth or anything like that. And there's a few different faces available for it. I went with this one because it's maybe my favorite Sub-Zero mask, but there are a couple different ones.
Okay.
So this, I'm just going to do like some light blue highlights across the top and somewhere in the nose section to just give it like a cold look to it. Either that, or I'm going to do some kind of a gray and make it smoke instead of Sub-Zero.
Huh.
Now,
That's true. Yeah, it's versatile.
I don't have them to show, but I have these smaller ones right here. I printed these out because I wanted to make space on my desk. Okay, and my PC is taking up a lot of space on my desk. But I have
Yeah.
a shelving unit next to my desk that's lower than the desk itself. So I test printed these because I found them. Okay. They're specifically designed for my Lean Lee case, right? They're feet to raise up your computer to let more airflow in. What I did was I went ahead and stretched out, okay, the body, left the top the same, length where the angle is, but I stretched out the body to be the exact height so that my computer's still sitting flush. But now I have stanchions
Yeah.
holding up the computer so it's off the desk. I'll send you a picture later. But they came out absolutely awesome. Okay. It has
Mhm.
opened up more space on my desk because another item that's going to end up in the shop, but I wanted to print it and make it work first. There's a modular desk setup that I found on STL Flicks that allows for your phone. Um, there's a monitor stand, speaker stands, something to hold your OBSBot camera, like if you have a gimbal. Okay. Um,
Yeah.
there's pen holders, paper clips, MagSafe holder. Okay. So I'm doing all of it in black and the Galaxy purple. All of the connectors are going to be in Galaxy purple, and all of the actual pieces are going to be in black. So once I get my setup completely printed out and done, then that's going to go up on the shop. Um,
Oh, cool.
because I want to be able to take my own pictures on top of the pictures I can post from them. One of the great things, by the way, about
Yeah.
STL Flicks is that it provides videos also. And supposedly videos are really helpful in getting people to,
Oh,
see the
yeah.
product for what it is. And they have these really professionally done videos, which, very, very cool. So I'm looking forward to finishing that, but that's going to be a long-term project. Um,
Yeah.
but I'm also looking to theme my computer. And I haven't
Hmm.
decided if I want to go with the Death Star theme where I do those walls with the different size ovals, okay, and just diffuse it in the background and have the light from the computer. Or one of the things I'm toying around with is actually finding or creating these palm trees to go on either end in towards the middle, printing out like a really thin sunset, and then putting this right in the middle of the glass.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Because this printed out so clean. I can just
Yeah,
see it
that looks
right in the
great.
middle of my of my PC. Especially if I have a couple palm trees folded in, okay, and the sunset,
Hmm.
So I'm working on designing that, and if I get that done to my satisfaction, then I'll post pictures and a video of that. That I can't sell because I don't have any licensing for it, but it did come
Yeah,
out so nice. Okay,
it did. That
and
looks great.
that's actually silk. Okay, the palm trees and the border. Okay, those are silks on a navy blue
Mm,
background. The letters are black and white. Okay, and it just, I mean, oh my god, I can't even express to you. Just whew.
that'd be really cool. Yeah.
Okay. So there's that.
Be ready for 2027 when that launches, right?
Yeah, you want to get ahead of these things, but um, once I get that done, I'm actually going to do a setup video for the whole room. Okay,
Hmm.
to show the 3D printers and my desk setup and how I've used my 3D printer in a practical way. Okay. The last thing I want to show is not only the mask back here, but the holder as well. Okay, was 3D printed.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and it has
Cool.
holes to mount directly to the wall, but I just use mounting tape because it's not
Hmm.
that heavy, nor is this heavy. Okay,
Yeah.
but I mean that's the same silk I used on the Grand Theft Auto sign. You'll notice that they're like slightly different colors because it's a multicolored silk. Okay,
Oh, okay.
um,
Yeah.
and it printed out so clean. Okay, even where the supports were, there's almost no markings where the supports were.
That's
I mean,
great.
legitimately, Shiggles. I'm telling you, even though this is a small printer, what it can do is so impressive. And
Hmm.
okay, I did the magnets so that it easily attaches. Okay, closes up, and oddly enough, it fits me. Okay, I was not expecting it to fit. I have a very large head, but it actually fit, and that's on a smaller printer. The
Yeah.
eyepieces printed out and snapped right into place. I didn't even have to use glue. Okay, they legitimately just snapped right into place, and
Very
you
cool.
can see through them. I was so excited.
Hmm.
I did put a little bit of cosplay foam on the top just for the
Oh,
top of the
okay.
head. Um,
Yeah, for comfort.
yeah, but outside of that, this thing's amazing. Okay, and the stand, it's just that simple. Well, I mean, like I mess around with it until I get it exactly the way I want it. But I
Yeah.
mean, uh, and because the foam is there, it doesn't rock back and forth. Once you get it in the spot you like it, it just stays there. So
Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I was super excited with that. Because one of the reasons I got into 3D printing was for helmets. Okay. And I've been
Yeah.
so disappointed in my ability to print helmets successfully. When I finally got one that came out so clean and beautiful, I was ridiculously excited. So um, there are a few more that I'm going to be targeting over the next couple months before I go back to work. But essentially, that's one of the things with this wall. I put in false pieces in the middle here so that I can hang helmets vertically going right down the middle. Okay.
Oh, nice.
Granted, I'm
Yeah.
the only one who's going to be able to see them. Okay. But it's for me anyway, you know?
Yeah, that is for you. It's
Uh,
good times.
so, I mean, like I can always have them on rotation so that I'm featuring a different
Hmm.
one on a different day, whatever the case is. But dude, the Spider Man 2099 helmet, I had seen them on some other channels, like when they printed them, and they made it look so easy, and I haven't gotten anything to work just the way I wanted it to. And then this thing was so perfect in the way it printed. I can't even. Oh, just,
Yeah, it's like especially the close shots that you had on that video you sent me.
yeah,
I was very impressed. I was like, yeah, that's super nice.
yeah. I did create a YouTube short for that on our channel so that I could show it off.
Hmm.
Um, and the gray is PLA Pro from Elegoo. Okay. The silks for the eyes are bamboo PLA silk, which I printed on the bamboo printer. So this was a coordinated effort between the two different printers, and
Yeah.
they sized up perfectly with no changes. Didn't have to do anything special. I mean, came out absolutely gorgeous. And I just glued the eyepieces on. They're designed to be on with magnets. I don't understand why you'd ever want to take them off, but I mean, maybe if you want to change the colors, but I don't want to change the colors. I think it looks amazing. So,
Yeah.
um, the it was a combined effort between the two printers. I still don't have word on when my next Elegoo is on the way, because I did order that back in May, but
Yeah.
hopefully sometime soon it'll ship. We're almost to the end of June, and you know, I, I guess the window is till the end of July, so hopefully we we
Hmm.
get it sometime before that. Um, but that's all I have to show. Okay. And that's all you have to show. So what I want to do now, I want
Yep.
to transition to some of the stuff that's been going on since we last talked. Now, I've talked about it multiple times. I have an Etsy shop. Okay. Now, granted, I haven't sold anything, and I'm moderately okay with that. I got to figure out how to actually sell one thing. But that being said, Etsy changed an interesting policy recently that affects 3D printing creators, okay, or shop owners in a very specific way. And when it first released, people misread it and totally like freaked out about it. Okay, essentially, they have this rule now where, let's say that you're a 3D printer, okay, and you want to take someone else's designs and sell the prints, okay. A lot of
Hmm.
3D printers, 3D printing creators or makers, okay, when they would actually put up the ad for it, or the listing, they would list the artist, but they wouldn't list what process, how much of the artist's involvement was there and how much their involvement was. They would just say, attributed, or this person is the artist because I have to give an attribution to them and I'm printing it. It wasn't like they went into any kind of special detail. And
Yep.
I'm I'm guessing there were complaints that people thought maybe this was mass produced, or maybe someone made like copyright claims or something like that because they didn't get the correct attribution for their work. Whatever the case is, okay. The policy states that if you are not involved in the creative process, okay, of these prints, then you cannot sell it. Okay. That's basically what the rule
Wow.
says. Okay.
Hmm.
And so immediately people started making videos that if you're selling someone else's artwork, you cannot sell it. And that's not the case. Okay. That's not what that said. You have to basically explain in your listing where you're involved in the process of making the product. Okay. And they have in the listings, because I've had to make these listings, they do have designations for your participation. You just have to fill it in correctly. Okay. But I can see where people would have skipped over some of that stuff because it takes extra time to fill it out. Um,
Hmm.
because they actually have a section where you can list the artists that you get stuff from. Okay. And they are your trusted like partner artists or something like that. And so whenever you post something of theirs, you have to then select that you're using this partnered artist. They design, whatever the thing is. Okay. Describe what it is and what it's made of. Okay. And where in the process you fit in, like actually taking the model from the software, slicing it so that it is appropriate and printable, choosing the colors because you're describing what colors and what material it's made out of. Okay. Any potential changes you had to make to print it properly, and what the final product is, and actually provide your images on top of whatever was provided to you. They don't want like 100 people selling the same Gandalf bookend, okay, using the same picture, because at that
Hmm.
point the person's not demonstrating that they have taken part in the process at all. That's one of the
Yeah.
reasons why I'm not putting anything up until I've printed it, so that I can add my pictures to whatever the listings are. Okay.
Yeah. So
Um,
it's your example of it.
exactly. Um, Now I do have a couple things up there where I need to update it because I wasn't aware of that rule change before I listed it. So I have to update the pictures, but I do have it. I do have all the forms filled out properly. So like this rule change doesn't really apply to me up until the actual aspect of me putting up my own pictures. Outside of that, I have everything, like all my ducks are in a row as far as listing it. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, and I did find some really cool models that I've listed. Um, one of basically the majority of what's up there right now is a village. Okay. Think of something like for either a Christmas setup, it's a medieval village. Okay. So there's like a blacksmith, there's a chapel. There's like a almost like a castle turret. It's not a full on castle, but it's like something attached to a castle turret. And then
Yeah.
there's like a town hall kind of thing. And
Hmm.
they also have accessories and roads that can be printed as well. I haven't posted
Oh,
those yet,
cool.
but they're going to be added to it. So you can actually purchase and print out an entire, or I would print it out, but you can actually purchase and set up an entire village. Let's say you were doing like Dungeons and Dragons and you needed an environment. The These
Yeah.
models are so detailed, they don't even need painting unless you want to paint them. Okay. They are
Very
absolutely
cool.
gorgeous. That bubble,
Mhm.
the bubblegum headset holder is on there. And I think, and I also have a crab, a crustacean who just looks angry. Okay. Um,
Nice.
and there's a few others that are similar to him because I got all these silks that I'm going to put up there, a few other animals. Um,
Hmm.
but in general, the, the, the real key, okay, is to involve yourself in the process. And so people can say, oh, I understand, what it is I'm buying and, what the person is actually selling. Where I get the
Yeah.
feeling, and I was probably guilty of this when I first started listing stuff, where I was only using the online pictures of some of the stuff. And I can totally see where there would be conflicts because you'd have like 10,000 people posting the same pictures. Okay. Well, which one is authentic? Which one is actually doing that stuff? So the rule makes sense. Uh, it had a lot of people freaked out, but I think if everyone just calms down, pays attention, okay, then
Yeah.
it's not that big a deal. Um, like there were videos going, if you're selling stuff on Etsy, your store needs to close and you need to only sell on Amazon Build and or Amazon Make, Amazon Handmade, whatever. I think it's Handmade, Amazon Handmade or
Hmm.
whatever it's called, or create your own website, drive traffic to it. All this extra. You can't sell on Etsy anymore. Sorry, it's over. Like, really? It's not. Calm down. The- There, uh, it was just a matter of like actually paying attention to what it was saying. You know, everyone
Yeah.
wants to create that clickbait video that just scares the hell out of people. And if you look at some of the online forums, people were legitimately freaking out. Okay.
Yeah, I
I, th-
bet.
I think a lot of people just don't care. If Etsy wants to shut down their shop, then they'll just put up another one. But like in
Mhm.
general, I think a lot of people just didn't get what it was saying. Now, it does encourage you to make your own stuff. Like if you design your own items, obviously you can list them. Okay, there's nothing. You're involved in the
Yeah.
full process from creation all the way to printing, which by the way is why I'm going to be printing I'm going to be putting up the monster can lamp that I made because
Oh,
number one,
yeah.
that came out so amazing, but I designed it, okay, and printed it.
Mhm.
Um I actually have someone who wants to buy something similar, but this is the big problem that I've had this week, okay? As beautiful as that can came out, and it did come out absolutely gorgeous. I made it for my brother for his birthday, and because he's a huge fan of that flavor monster. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, well, one of his coworkers saw it, and he's like, "Oh my god, I want that exact thing, but from a picture of my dog." Okay, and I'm like, "I'll try to make it." And he wants to pay me. He wants to actually like purchase the item. He said he doesn't care
Nice.
how much it costs, which
Very
sure,
cool.
we'll see about that. But anyway, um, I went into the Lightbox creator to try and make it. Okay,
Mhm.
big problem. It's a German Shepherd. Okay, and the matrix in the Lightbox creator recommended um, 18 colors,
Oh, wow.
16 of which were different shades of brown. Okay,
Mm.
and guess what? It didn't look great even with the 18 colors.
Oh,
Okay, so
no.
when you start reducing it, because I can only print with 8 colors, so I
Yeah.
reduced it to 8, and it looked like something out of Resident Evil. It was freakish. Okay,
That's freaking.
but even if I had the 6 shades of brown that it's telling me I need to print this, which I don't. I only have 2 shades. If you count tan as a shade of brown, I only have 2 shades of brown. Okay, that could potentially work. And with 2 shades of brown, white, black, pink for the tongue. Okay, and a couple other strange things mixed in, like for the background. If I did a background, it looks horrid, absolutely hideous. Okay. So I was going to put it out to you because it's potentially a paid thing. Okay. I wanted to see if I sent you the pictures, would you want to try and take a swing at it making a lithophane, okay, on HueForge? Okay. Because
Oh, yeah, I could give it a shot.
if we could make that happen, okay, then we could get paid for it, so I can reimburse you for any materials. Like my brother even went as far as to say, "Well, what if I got you the 18 different shades of brown?" I'm like,
Right.
you do realize that even if I used all those different shades of brown, I'm using like 45 cents of each one, and you're going to spend what, $15 to $20 per spool, and then I'm going to have all this brown laying around. Like, when the hell am I going to use all
Yeah.
this stuff? Okay, like, let me try and see if I can figure out a way to make this work. Let's start there. Okay.
Mhm.
If I can make it work, okay, and actually give a quality product, because number one, I used to work in law enforcement, and I have a lot of respect
Mm.
for people in law enforcement, and I have a ton of respect for people who rescue military and law enforcement dogs when their careers are over. And
Mm.
this is a retired dog. Okay, so
Yeah.
like I put it way up on a pedestal. Okay, I don't want anything jank or nasty or just crappy looking, and that's a personal thing
Yeah.
for me. Well, so far it is scary what has been on my screen. Okay, I
Scary.
I mean like legitimately, if you remember those dogs from the first Resident Evil movie, there are a couple images that
Mhm.
look exactly like that. Like the skin is inverted. I mean, just horrid, absolute horrid stuff.
Yeah.
Now, um, the big thing would be in creating something that works. Okay. And if it works, then getting the materials, which with HueForge, we probably only need like, 2 or 3 colors tops. Okay. So that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
but making it so that it's thin enough to light in the background, because I can then design the light box to go for it, or you can design the light box to go for it. Either way, and then we have to fit a light source in there and then combine the total cost of what it would be, okay, plus your time so that it can be built properly, and then send it to them and say, okay, this is what it would cost to print, and actually get an okay. That being the case, we'll see whether or not they're interested. But you are better with HueForge than I am. I've been messing around with HueForge, and I might be able to make something actually work, but I'd rather have it look good than just make it work. Okay. So I'm going to
Mhm.
send you the two pictures he sent me, and see whether or not you can make either one of them work.
Okay.
Okay. And then we'll go from there. Like, he was already hitting my brother up, like, has there been any progress? Did you hear anything? And I said to my brother,
Oh man.
you need to pump the brakes. Okay. Because like your monster can had 7 individual colors that were not related to each other. I was able to use, not shades of brown that have to mix together properly to make it look like a dog. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
And anything organic is always harder than
yeah,
like
because it's
a
not,
physical good.
it is not a stock color, it,
Hmm.
it is, to make it look right, it has to be a multifaceted, many shades, okay, to fill that in. And it's not like an inkjet printer that blends colors together. I
Mm.
wish it was. I wish I could just do that. Okay. But, you know, then he could do it at Kinko's. What would be the point of me doing it? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
So um that's where we're at with that. So that's the big problem I've been faced with. Um and my final, not my final solution, but my next step, because I'm still messing around in HueForge looking at it. But I feel like if you were to look at it, you'd come up with a solution that's probably better and maybe even faster than what I'm able to come up with. Um, Either way, we'll see how it works. But that could potentially be a paying job for both of us, so that could work out really well.
Hmm.
Um, Next, a hack. Okay, I mentioned I had a hack for the Centauri
Oh yeah.
Carbon. Okay,
Hmm.
now, uh, the build plate that it comes with is a fantastic build plate, especially on the smooth side. Okay, but the smooth side is a high temperature build plate. Okay, just like the textured side is.
Oh yeah.
It's not a cool. It's not a cool thing. So what I did, just messing around, I went ahead and ordered a second bamboo cold plate. Okay, because the bamboo printer is slightly smaller. The P1S is slightly smaller than the Centauri Carbon, and it doesn't take up the full build plate. I mean, there's like this little sliver on the side that is open, so you can't print all
Yeah.
the way to the edge. But I put the cold plate on there, and you can put in the uh, Elegoo slicer that you're using a smooth cold plate. Okay,
Hmm.
so it reduces the temperature, and I've been printing on that, and I've been printing on it now for a little over a week. Okay, because one of the big issues I've been running into on all of my build plates is ghosting. Okay, which in and of itself is not a big deal. Okay, all it's just leaving an impression. Okay,
Yeah.
it's not that's preventing anything from printing, but I just hate the way it looks, and it makes me nervous that at some point something's either not going to adhere or it's not going to stick, and I don't want to use glue sticks on every single build plate. Some of the build plates I want to avoid using the glue, and so I've been trying the cold plate, which by the way reduces energy costs while the printer is running. Okay,
Yep.
which reduces the cost of making the prints. Okay, so they can sell for a little bit less money. Right now, my estimate is that instead of $1 per hour, because of the heat that it has to maintain in the chamber on the build plate itself, it's roughly costing about 55 cents per hour. Okay,
Very cool.
which, if you when you're looking at some of these longer prints where each hour is adding $1, okay, for every single hour that it's running, cutting that cost in half basically is absolutely enormous. And
Yeah, it's a big change.
I did find another cold plate before I ordered the bamboo one, but it's even smaller
Mhm.
than the bamboo one. Okay, and it's not smooth; it's textured. So I don't love the finish, because I love a smooth finish on the print.
Yeah.
I just love the way it looks. Now it doesn't have a pattern transfer or anything like that, but at some point, Elegoo has to come out with a smooth cold plate. They haven't done it yet, okay? But if you were interested in trying the cold plate on the Elegoo, okay, the bamboo one has been working quite well. The
Nice.
the two masks that I printed them without rafts, okay, just straight on the cold plate. They came out nice and smooth, no issues. The bubblegum headphone stand, okay, that was no brims, nothing, just on the bill plate. The funny thing is, getting it off the bill plate, you have to like really torque that thing because it doesn't want to let it go. Okay, which is fantastic. There's no
Yeah.
adhesion issues with that, and I keep the door shut, which they say not to, but like, whatever. The roof is
Mhm.
off, okay, but the door, I just keep the door shut. Okay, that way there's no cross breeze or anything like that. And
Yeah.
um, the like once you get once you get purchase underneath the item, it's just flexing and then moving it back and forth until either it pops right off, or you just have the majority of it off and it just twist it a little bit, comes right off. Nothing left behind, no ghosting, nothing like that. Absolutely clean prints, gorgeous. Okay, so
Cool.
that's
Yeah.
a hack I've been doing. The bamboo cold plate is actually much nicer than the one I got from Amazon. I had to order it from Bamboo, but it was totally worth it. Um,
Mhm.
when I ordered the silks, I went ahead and ordered two more of the cold plates because I wanted to get a cold plate for the next Centauri carbon when it gets here. Because the
Oh, yeah.
bamboo is on that same cold plate. I've got the Elegoo on that cold plate. When the next Elegoo comes, I'm gonna have that on a cold plate. So they're all printing on cold plates unless I absolutely need to use a heated plate. Like if I'm gonna use a different material, because I do have TPU, which I don't think anyone recommends using a cold plate for that. I think they want you
Yeah, I don't
using a
think
heated
so.
bed. And I do have a clear ABS, which I don't know if I'm ever going to use, but I have it. Um, so if I ever use that, I'm gonna use a hot plate for that because the cold plate, as far as I know, is also not recommended for that in any way, shape, or form. Because they want the door shut for the ABS and the roof on
Yeah.
because you have to lock in the temperature to keep it flowing properly.
Yep.
So um, there's that. But I'm telling you, in cost for prints, it does cost a little bit because the bamboo plate is not the cheapest plate out there, but it is
Mhm.
worth it once you get past a certain number of hours. It'll pay for itself so fast, um, just in cost of use, you know. And God forbid I ever start selling something, I can reduce my prices of anything I print on there because I'm not charging $1 per hour. I can knock it down. If it costs me 55 cents, I can knock it down to 50 cents an hour. That 5 cents isn't going to kill me. Okay.
Yeah.
Do 50 cents an hour, legitimately cutting the print time cost in half. So,
Yeah, especially any bigger item. Yeah, that's going to make a big difference on too.
oh my God, some of this, like the desk setup that I'm printing right now, each one of the connectors that I'm printing in the Galaxy is taking half a day at least. Okay.
Oof.
Because it's printing slow to
Mhm.
eliminate any kind of layer lines because it's also has to have a lot of rigidity to hold everything properly. So it's printing really, really slow. And I don't mind it printing slow. Take your time, do it right. Okay. Um, and so it's doing that, and all the pieces so far are coming out so nice and so clean. Once I have this thing set, I cannot wait to see what it looks like. Honestly, uh, because I want to make enough space for my 3 stream decks. Uh,
Yep.
the monitor riser is going to be. I don't know, like I don't need a monitor riser, but I'm gonna put it there just so that it helps to block some of, because right now I can see clear to the back of my room, so it's gonna block some of that, which is nice, and it's still gonna go
Yeah.
with the theme of the rest of it with the whole purple and black, so it's gonna help with the desk. I got a brand new desk mat that is synthwave styled, okay,
Mhm.
um, to go along with everything else I have going on in this room. So yeah, I'm super excited about that. Cannot wait to see how that finishes. Um, let's see. Okay. So next thing, my daughter tricked me. She tricked me for Father's Day. Okay.
Okay.
She told me that she wanted a specific print from Printables. Okay. And
Hmm.
she couldn't find what she wanted. It was some kind of unicorn thing. She couldn't find one that she was happy with. So then she went on and she found this like it's kind of like a storage thing, but it's a black lab, and she loves animals. She's probably going to grow up to be a vet, I would imagine, when she gets older. But uh, told me that she needed this so she could put pens on her desk. Okay, and it's a black lab. She knows that I love black labs because I had one for 20 years. Okay, and, when I finally had to put that dog down, it like was one of the most crushing things in my entire life because from the time I was 10 till the time I was 30, okay, that dog was a
Mhm.
part of my life. And
Yep.
um, so for Father's Day, uh, she's like, "Oh, can I give you my gift?" And she comes down um, from upstairs because I had oh, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Okay. She comes down and she hands me this. Okay. She hands me the dog because she printed it for me. Okay.
Oh,
She did not print it
thanks.
for herself. She lied to me. She tricked me. She gave me her handmade card. Okay.
Mhm.
And of course, the dog that I printed out, which by the way, look at this. Dude.
He's really smooth too.
Oh my God. This was all Centauri carbon. Okay. This is basic PLA. Okay. Look at that.
Mhm.
This isn't even
Yeah.
matte. This is basic PLA. Look how unbelievable that printed out. Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting mine.
So,
So when yours ships, you got to let me know because mine should be hopefully not too long after that. They still gave me a July 31st window for the shipment on mine.
oh no, believe when I know it's coming, everybody's going to know. I already have the space set aside for it right now. The where I'm going to put it, I'm assembling the desk setup. Okay. So that's what I'm using that for. But at some point, it's going to have to come over to the desk once it's done, and that space is going to be open and available. I don't know. I'm just stoked, you know. But
Mhm.
I can't. The little one who never lies to me, she lied to me. Okay,
Nice.
totally tricked me. And I know why she did it, and the representation of what she chose had me like all choked up. I had to do the thing where I'm like, oh my god, this is so nice. I can't look
This
at you.
is
I can't look at you.
so
I'm just I can't like
uh,
because I thought it was nice that she wanted a black lab. I'm like, okay, so like obviously
yeah.
I've rubbed off on her. Great, okay.
Mhm.
I didn't know, okay, that it was going to be for me, and
Yep.
I'm kind of glad it is because it's going to be on my desk. I don't know if it's going to be on my desk
Yeah.
here or if it's going to be at work, but it's going to be on one of my two desks. I have to decide, either the rock and roll planter or one's going on one desk, the other one's going on the other. I haven't
That's
decided which
right.
way to go yet.
Very cool.
Oh, actually, you know what? There was one other print that I used the PLA Plus for because I had bought 10
Hmm.
spools of the PLA Plus because it's more durable and easier to sand.
Mhm.
So I printed out this
Oh,
organizer.
nice.
Okay,
Mhm.
got all my paintbrushes. I have all my paint markers. These are paint markers. Okay, which I highly recommend when you have to do tiny details and don't want to have to break out the paint. Okay, they're double tipped, a thick end and a thin end. Okay, and it's acrylic paint,
Oh,
so it
nice.
sticks and it colors beautifully. You may have to do
Mhm.
2 or 3 layers depending on what richness you want, but yeah. Anyway, print it out, super clean. This is PLA plus. Okay. Um, well, the rattling, but it is solid. Okay, this thing is like remarkably solid. It's got
Mhm.
really good weight to it. By the way, if you haven't done this, I highly recommend this. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
very nice.
Um, I've
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So you just put the silicone nozzle wiper on here, and anywhere where you get um, like the feathering or the stringing or anything like that, you don't want to scratch the print. Okay. You and you maybe you don't have your heat gun or your torch available, or you don't want to use the butane for the torch. Hit it up with this first and see if it works. It has worked for almost all of mine when it comes to just cleaning stuff up. Grabs it, and then it just cleans out super easy. But just rubbing your fingers on the silicone, the stuff comes right out.
Yeah,
Totally
that's cool.
recommend it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll have to make one of those. I don't think I ever would have thought of that. Like to make a tool out of that thing.
yeah. I also made a greasing tool. When the new printer arrives, I'm going to go to all three of my other printers and do the maintenance that I have not done since I've gotten them, where
Oof.
actually clean them. Okay. Um,
Mm.
which, by the way, the flossing material for cleaning um, the not the rails, but the um,
The center screw.
yeah, the screws. Okay. Um, I I saw a recommendation where they have like this cloth. It's a cloth, uh, kind of like floss. So it's a long cloth. You can cut it to whatever length you want, and you wrap it around one time around the screw, and then just lightly pull it back and forth, and it cleans out all the dirt from the middle, everything that
Oh,
accumulated.
nice.
So then you can go
Hmm.
back on the clean screw and put the actual silicone, or not silicone, but um, the grease. Okay, and so I have a grease
Yeah.
tool, and I bought, instead of using the bamboo little grease packets that came with it, I bought just
Hmm.
large tubes of like the super grease or whatever it's called, and
Yep.
because it was highly recommended for this kind of thing. Plus, it's easier to control because you're not trying to hold that stupid little packet and get that thing
Yeah.
in there.
Hmm.
Um, and so I'm going to do that with all the printers, including the Cheedy downstairs, which um, the Cheaty's been printing nice, okay, but all that stuff's been for my son, so I don't have
Hmm.
any of that to show. Um,
Yeah.
not that I was sad about it. He seems to really enjoy it, and he's got
Good.
a 5 kilogram spool sitting next to that thing that keeps feeding and feeding and feeding and feeding.
You
So
can print whatever you want, man.
pretty much, pretty much.
Yeah, I've done like I try and do mine every week with just like the rails with the thinner grease. I haven't like transitioned to using the thicker stuff yet, but well, the oil, I guess. The little bottle that they send you with the mini, because that one actually has a tip on it and stuff. But I've been doing that because it does prompt you every week about, or it's supposed to be on number of hours used. So I think sometimes it hits me up early. But every time I see it, I grease it a little bit with that stuff just on the X and Y rails. But I haven't done the screw yet. And I thought that it was weird. I looked up actually their recommendations for
Mhm.
when to like clean and lube that thing. And I think it was like 6 months or something. It was really long, which to me sounded like a little too long to go,
Initially,
without doing anything.
initially I saw the 6 month thing like for the Cheaty, and then I was
Mhm.
watching videos. And for some of these YouTubers who have been like 3D printing, doing 3D print videos for years, if you go back to like 3 and 4 years ago, uh, they recommend not doing twice a year. They recommend doing 4 times a year, so 2 to 3 months. Okay, depending on
Okay.
usage, 2 to 3 months should be more than fine, and keep it running nice and smooth and keeping it clean. You don't have to do it, weekly. You don't have to do it even monthly, unless you're running a print farm where you're putting in like 1,000 hours a month on each printer. Um, which I think right now the bamboo I think now has the most hours on it. It's past the Cheaty because the Cheaty just doesn't get used as often because I'm not using it. But uh, even with that, I think I've been averaging something like 650 hours a month or something like that. So going off that, it is overdue for maintenance, but once every 2 to 3 months is not that bad. You know,
Yeah, not at
so
all.
especially with the right tools. So
Hmm.
I will send you the stuff that I found so that you have it, or you can
Yeah.
decide whether or not you want to get it. The flossing material is not supposed to arrive for another week. I guess it's the only stuff that's not readily available. Okay. Um, everything else came next day. So I've got this stuff
Yeah.
sitting here. I can't do the well, I can do it, but I don't want to do it until I have everything combined. And I was like,
Mm.
you know what? It's looking like it's going to arrive sometime around the same time the printer's going to arrive. So I'm just going to wait. When the printer arrives and I get it set up, while that thing is running, I'm just going to go ahead and clean everything else and get them all, spiffied up and ready to go and run it like that. So I'll send you all those listings in Amazon.
Cool. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, I definitely want to check out that flossing stuff for sure. That's the hardest part of cleaning off like set screws and stuff like that, or traversal ones. It's
Yeah,
just getting everything kind of out of them.
I agree. And when I saw someone using it like this, it just made complete sense. And I don't know why it never occurred to me before. But um, like I just grabbed everything the guy recommended because it all just made sense. And then I found a greasing tool that I really liked um, because it covers like the front portion just about perfectly. It looks like a wrench, you know. So
Yeah.
the it's easy to handle, and you don't have to get around the back because as it spins, it's going to get the back anyway. You just want to get the back for the cleaning aspect of it to get any dirt that's stuck back there, just so that it doesn't clog up the machine. But
Yep.
when it comes to actually greasing it as it rotates, it's going to get grease everywhere anyway. And it also showed how to properly grease the um, the ribbon that goes side to side on the head for the XY.
Oh yeah.
You haven't had to deal with that, okay? But that's something you're going to want to pay attention to is cleaning and maintaining those ribbons as well. On the
Yep.
GD, it's not as big a problem because they're much larger. On the other ones, they're smaller, so you just want to be careful not to pull on them or to do anything that could like put stress on them. But outside of that, it's Elegoo just released a maintenance video, okay, that shows you what to do. It's only 2 minutes long. The process is much longer than 2 minutes, but they show you what you need to do, and it's super simple and very basic as far as what to do. So if it's good enough for the Cheaty, it's definitely good enough for the Bamboo. And I mean, not the Cheaty. Why do I keep saying the Cheaty? The Elegoo. Elegoo is the one that released it. So if it's good enough for the Elegoo, it's totally good enough for the Bamboo, which would make it good enough for anything. Let's see. There was one other thing I wanted to mention, which I'm forgetting now. Oh, when do you have to go to work, by the way?
I gotta get ready here in about an hour from now is when I gotta go to the store, grab some stuff. I have nothing here for lunches.
Yeah,
completely out.
Well, because I'm going to be out of town, I have to take my dogs to the vet, because they're going to board them for the week that we're gone. Which, by the way, if you have a vet that boards your pets, that is the greatest thing in the world, because if anything goes wrong, they're in the right place.
That's right. They're already there.
Yeah. And I don't have the world's best vet, but I do have maybe the world's most convenient vet, because while they're there, they have a mobile groomer who's available to come and clean them up if necessary. If anything goes wrong, they send a text saying, "Oh, there's this potential issue. Do you want us to take care of it?" And it literally, they're getting the best possible care, and they're getting attention because they love the dogs when they're there. Like I've never had a dog come back from that place traumatized. So, well, except for their first inoculations, these puppies were not happy. Oh my God. They were, like you could see on their face, they felt like they were violated by every single needle that pierced their skin. But outside of that, there hasn't been any, they both got fixed recently, and that was interesting. But I honestly don't remember what the last thing I wanted to talk about was. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
The only thing is just my printer that I ordered, because I ordered myself a Centauri Carbon. So I know I've kind of mentioned it in passing a couple of times here, but yeah, I finally got tired of like waiting around for it, and I've worked so much overtime the last several weeks. I was like, you know what? I'm going to treat myself. I'm going to buy myself a Carbon, because I was going to buy one at some point anyways. And then actually what made me really want to do it was I had initially kind of told myself, like, when they're done with pre-orders and you can just like buy one and it ships out within the week, then I was going to buy one. That was kind of my litmus test. And then I periodically will check Elegoo's website, and I was just like waiting for the pre-orders to be done and them just be selling normally. And then for months now, they have said that the pre-orders, the ship window is before July 31st. And then I checked it one day, and then it said August 31st. So they had moved it up one. And I was like, oh no, there's more pre-orders. And that's when I was like, I think I should just buy it. because to me, I was like, if I get it before July 31st, I think I'd be happy. But then August, it's like, wow, that's kind of far away. You know, I was hoping to get my hands on it before then. So between the overtime and seeing that they moved that ship window out a month and they're still on pre-order and not just like order and ship, I was like, I'm going to buy it. And then I just so happened to check it. And it was like the Friday before Father's Day, I think. And they had a Father's Day sale going on, which I didn't know about. And it was like a 5% discount on their bundles.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a bundle that is the printer, which I decided this time, and I learned my lesson from going the cheapest possible entry point on the A1 Mini. As I was like, I know what I want. I'm just going to get what I want. I'm not going to be like, well, I'll get this later, or I'll do something else and add it later. So instead of getting just the Centauri, I did get the Carbon. So I already have the enclosure and all that other stuff comes with it. And I got the bundle that has an additional hot end. So I got a 0.2 millimeter hot end that's going to come with it. So that way I have both, because I still want to try some of like the really fine detail stuff. I want to try some Hue Forges with a 0.2 to see how that looks. I want to try some Lithophanes with a 0.2 to see like the difference in quality and whatnot. And like smaller stuff just to see if I can do it, just play around with things. I want the option. And I figure if I want to do like the bigger, I know a lot of people go with a 0.6 to get some prints done faster.
Mm-hmm.
I can get a 0.6 later, but I figured I'd probably use the 0.2 before I'd want the 0.6. So I'll have both to start. It comes with the anti-vibration feet that you can put on the printer.
And I highly recommend it. Because I'm watching mine right now, and the whole table is shaking, but it's not, the printer's not moving. And that's the big deal.
Yeah. Yep. And it's like, I have that, which was great too. Is like, you have a little bit of experience with it. So it was like, oh, great. It comes with the feet that he recommended, So I was like, I got those in this bundle. And the bundle came with the build plate pack that I like, that has like the transfer plates and stuff. So I was like, well, I wanted to get those anyways, so it comes in the bundle. Because I had several bundles, but this one had all of the printer accessories that I wanted. I have a decent amount of filament at this point. So I went with, instead of the ones that have more filament, I went with one that it still came with 2 spools of filament. But you couldn't choose different colors, which was a little bit of a bummer. You could only choose one color.
Yeah, I get that. But at the same time, remember though, you can only print with one color,
That's true.
I would worry about the multicolor aspect of it once their multi-filament system comes out. Now, granted, I'm the same person who legitimately just bought 10 spools of one color just so that I can print out models and stuff all in gray, because gray shows the best detail. Okay. But the sales that they run on filament, their filament is so inexpensive when you buy it in bulk like that. It is remarkable how cheap it is. Okay.
Yeah.
And I do remember now what it is I wanted to talk about, but you can go ahead and finish.
Oh, yeah. So I got that FTM bundle. So I have all of the printer accessories that I wanted to get right away that I already know I will get. So those are all going to come. And I got my 2 spools. I chose the space gray. Just because I know that there is probably at least 2 more spaceships after I'm done with this Enterprise and have it all done. Because I do want I think I want a Sulaco for myself from Aliens. And then I do want to do the Agamemnon for my dad, because he was also a huge Babylon 5 fan.
I bought it. I haven't tried it yet. I haven't tried it yet. I bought it. I do have it. So, yeah.
Yep. And I figured, since I know I'm going to print at least a couple of decent models, and obviously my Legos in the background there, spaceships are like one of my biggest things that I like to have models of. So I figured space gray would be great, because that's a pretty common base color, and it's like I can detail on top of that. Maybe save me a little bit of painting time.
Yeah.
If they just come out as a space gray to start with.
Well, plus, like I mentioned, the gray is recommended for modeling specifically because it shows more detail. Like the white, the matte white looks amazing, okay, but it's hard sometimes to see where something is when you're trying to do fine detail. And it's definitely harder to show people fine detail on the white than it is with the gray. So that's why I bought so much gray. And it's worth it, though, because, like I said, this dude is the the gray. Okay.
Yeah.
And you can see every bit of detail. You can see all the little rivets and all the, cuts and corners. And oh my God, just
Yep.
so, I mean, look
Yeah.
at the face. I mean, come on, look at that thing.
Yeah.
That's
it's really nice because in white, even if you can see it in person, it's like some of that stuff gets lost just because of the amount of bounce back of the light.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of wish I had it before, and I had printed out all my enterprise parts in it, but still got an airbrush, so we're gonna go that route this time.
Awesome. I mean, I can't. I cannot wait to actually attempt to do the Agamemnon. I have to get a couple projects done before I can even come close to attempting it. But I mean, to have that done would just be insane. And OBSBot, I swear to God, if you don't stop activating tracking for no reason whatsoever, oh my gosh.
OBSBot tracks. That's what I do. Oh, just as a quick question for that, do you keep the OBSBot software up normally?
I have it off to the side, yeah.
Okay. I wonder if it like keeps trying to retrack, because I started like killing the OBSBot software, so I don't actually have its own software running. I just use OBS for mine, and I find that it doesn't try to jump into tracking mode.
Okay, so if I close it, it's not going to turn off the camera?
It shouldn't. It doesn't for me.
All right, let me see.
Because I don't have it.
It turned off the camera.
Dang it! I wonder if I had to do some. If I did something else for the setup. Yeah, because I don't run the OBSBot software anymore at all.
It's probably because I have the virtual camera turned on the OBSBot.
Oh.
Because the camera itself is still actually running. It's the virtual camera that turned off.
Okay. Yeah, and I use the virtual camera. I use this, the one directly from the OBS panel too.
I may have to make that adjustment, but it's not set up currently, so I'm not going to mess with it at the moment. And I still need to get your color settings because I'm pissed off at how nice your colors look.
Yeah.
And I'm all washed. I mean, granted, I don't have much of a tan. I don't like going outside, but still, I mean,
hey, me neither. It's terrible out there.
I still got to get your color settings. I don't know what you did. Okay. Because you even have a downgraded camera from what mine is. We're both using OBSBot cameras, but you have the 1080p, but I have the 4K one. So I should be able to get that image quality on mine. And I just haven't been able to figure it out yet.
Yeah, I'll do that for you. Make sure to grab my settings stuff.
Okay. So I'm obsessed with this. Okay. I'm obsessed with 3D printing. And there are some amazing sales going on some of the printers. And I have been waffling, going back and forth because I could get another printer. Okay. I don't necessarily need another printer. I still have yet to sell anything from my Etsy shop to even justify getting another printer. But I could get another printer because there's some really good sales going on. And like a couple of the ones I was looking at are like the K2 Plus from Creality, because that one you can get the combo with the multicolor system, which is rough. It's around the same price, although because it's around the same price of the P1S combo. Okay. But it's a bigger build plate. It's a 350 square. Okay. Which that's pretty big. And it gets decent ratings from people who use it. Okay. There aren't as many people using the Creality ones that make the videos I watch as are using the Bamboo and now the Elegoo. I had looked at the FlashForge, was it MK5 or whatever? Because that one actually you can do 5 colors. It doesn't have a multi-material system. It has a multi-material nozzle. Like you mount them directly to the machine. Okay. The only problem is it's A1 mini sized as far as the build plate goes. It's an enclosed XY, but it's tiny. Okay. And
Hmm.
it's very inexpensive comparatively because like I said, it comes with the ability to do multicolor. And I think it starts at, I think it's $4.99 for that. Okay. Which for a Core XY enclosure, all that stuff, multicolor, that's very inexpensive. But then I saw
Yeah.
how small the build plate is, and I'm like, God bless. I don't know that that's
Yeah.
even worth it to me. Um, and then I was also looking at, um, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but the Eufy make the um, the resin uh, on material printer. Okay, it's not like a standard resin SLS printer. Okay, it
Okay.
is something where you take stuff like, you take cups, okay, or you take wood planks or steel or glass or anything like that. You put it into the printer and it prints resin up to 4 millimeters high, whatever design you want onto that material. Okay. And it'll do it in multicolor like an inkjet printer. Okay.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
it's actually very cool, but it is it's like a Kickstarter type thing. So right now it's $1,600 if you buy it early. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
If you buy it early, it's going to be $2,300 when it comes out for general sale. Okay.
Damn.
And they are on their last round of funding because they've already exceeded what they expected. Okay. And I watched maybe 100 videos from other people who are doing this. And for something where you want to be able to sell stuff, the world is your oyster for what you can do with that thing. You can make the money back on that one fairly quickly. Okay. But
yeah, because it's just 100% like customizing products. That's great.
yeah, I mean, like refrigerator magnets, spoons, plates, glass. It doesn't. I mean, anything that is flat, even stuff that's round. Okay, mugs, Stanley cups. Whatever the case is, you can personalize it for whatever the need is, and it prints in resin. Now, granted, it can't go in the dishwasher. Okay, because that is not going to hold up. But I mean, some of the stuff that I've seen is absolutely awesome. I mean, just but the fact that it blends the colors and it washes itself after use. Okay, like it flushes out it flushes out unused resin, so that you don't have to manually clean the machine like you do with a resin printer.
Nice.
Which is one of the reasons why I imagine it's so expensive, because
probably
post processing. It has a built-in infrared light, so it cures in the machine. Okay, you don't have to run it through a wash and cure station like you normally do with a resin print. Okay, maybe you want to put clear coat on it. Guess what? It has a clear coat slot and finishes prints with clear coat if you want it to. So
it's like a very much all-in-one solution for that.
Yes. Now, granted, it only goes as high as 4 millimeters. It doesn't. You can't do like miniatures or statues or anything like that. It just prints on stuff. Okay. Which is so cool. I mean, like unreal levels of cool. Especially if you want to run a shop. Okay, because there's so much you could do with that. Having said that, that is the second highest target that I was looking at. Because I actually got approved for financing on a Bamboo H2D.
Oh, the big one. The big boy.
But, I mean, do I really want to spend $2,000? Because I could only get the base model. I couldn't possibly get one that does the laser cutting and the drawing and all that other crap. I can't get $4,000 worth of a printer. I don't even know that I should even consider getting $2,000 worth of a printer. Okay. But the multi-nozzle aspect of it, to me, is so massive, because being able to, let's say that I wanted to do something like multi-board, where I want to print out like a bunch of multi-board, I could do PETG for the multi-board and do a PLA layer in between each stack and literally just pull it right apart because they won't adhere to each other. Okay. Or anytime I want to do something with supports, I can do it in one material and do the supports in a completely different material that won't adhere to it. because PLA and PETG don't stick to each other. So PETG is ridiculously cheap. I could buy PETG just for support material and print in PLA and never have support stick. You know, that is kind of attractive. But at the same time, it's $2,000 for the minimum. You know, like it's not even on sale. Their Father's Day sale does not include that thing. Okay.
Really? Wow.
It includes like some filament for it, you know, but not the actual machine itself. I also considered just getting 2 of the brand new AMSs, the AMS2s for my current bamboo. So I'd have 4 AMSs, but 2 of them would be dryers also, you know?
Yeah.
Which would mean if I wanted to do stuff in TPU, I could use their TPU AMS, which is not, it's not like regular TPU. It's not as soft as the other TPU. So I may not even consider doing that. But I mean, if I wanted to use even ABS, it's an enclosed ABS, you know? So, I mean, it's an enclosed AMS system. So like I could use ABS, and if I close the printer completely, then I would have less fumes than I would if I was using it on the side of the printer. Okay.
Yep.
So I was thinking about getting 2 of those, but 2 of those with you have to get like this extra control switch for the side to run those through. Combined, it comes to like $900. Okay.
Oof, wow. And
that's just for multi-material systems. That like, but it would give me my full 16 color range on the bamboo versus the 8 that I have now, you know?
Yeah.
Which is really appealing because there is stuff where even 8 is not enough colors, you know? So there's that. And then the last thing I was looking at, I don't know if you've seen it, but Hey Gears for their resin printer, the Reflex RS, they just released a Reflex RS Turbo, and it's already on sale as part of their Father's Day sale. And I think today's the last day potentially to buy it. So instead of $1,000 for the printer, okay, for a 16K resin printer when it comes to detail, which by the way is a fully software enclosed system. So like it does its own supports. It uses its own, you don't have to dial in settings for their resin. It's already dialed in. You just use their resin and tell it which resin you're using, and it knows exactly how long to cook it. Okay. It does everything for you, and it comes out absolutely gorgeous. Instead of $1,000, that thing's on sale for $800, which is a massive price drop, you know?
Yeah.
So I was considering that too, even though I haven't started resin printing yet. And I do have 2 resin printers in the garage that I have not yet turned on. To have one that is so user-friendly, I could turn around and sell the other 2 if I wanted to make back some of that money, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, you got options.
So
got a lot of options, sounds like.
That was the other thing I want to talk about, because I'm at the point where I'm experiencing analysis paralysis, you know? To me, I think the smart thing is to not act at all. Okay? But if I did act, what is the right thing to do? Because the Eufy make is super appealing. The H2D is very attractive for printing, not necessarily for the other stuff. The K2 Plus is really cool because of the size that it can print. Okay. And the fact that it comes with their multi-material system, which, by the way, people rave about Creality's multi-material system, the ones who have it. Okay. Because it is also a fully enclosed drying system, as well as their multi-material.
Okay.
And then, of course, the 2 multi-materials for the bamboo are very attractive to make it the full 4 that I can use. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they make the original AMSs anymore, but once you use them, you realize they have a lot of flaws. You know, the ones for the initial P1Ss and X1 Carbon.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to clean out a clog. Like I did have one where the actual filament broke in the PTFE tube. Luckily, it had gone just far enough where it reached the tube on the outside. So I was able to
Yeah.
detach the tube on the outside and pull it through. If it had been only on the
Okay.
inside, I would have had to completely dismantle the AMS just to get to the tubes to take it out, which would have
Yeah.
totally sucked. The newer one, the PTFE tubes are all exposed on the inside. So if you have a,
Mm.
you know, some that's stuck there, you can just reach in, undo the tube and pull it right out, which is very appealing. But also the
Yeah.
dryer part of it built in is really appealing. But the reason why
Yup.
you need that extra controller is because it has to be powered where the other one isn't powered. You know, it just pulls and
Yeah.
pushes, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's just like, you know, there's, I have the voice saying, don't do anything, you know, don't take on another bill. And then I've got the other voices going, yeah, but it would be great if I could do this, or it'd be great if I could do this, or could you imagine if we could do this? And it's like, who's we, white man? What are we, what are we talking about?
Just me.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah, I think if it was me, I would probably go Creality just because I want the bigger print volume. Because I think I will at some point get even a bigger printer.
Mhm.
I mean, the Carbon's going to feel like an upgrade in size for me because it is, because I have a mini.
It is a massive upgrade for you. There's no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
But also
And
with features, it's a massive upgrade.
Yeah, but I think because that's the one other thing I'm thinking is just print volume and then
Well, I mean, straight up,
multi-material.
once you
Is pretty
realize how
nice.
nice it is to keep that door shut so that you don't have the adhesion issues that you have with your mini, you're gonna be so happy. I mean, granted,
Yeah.
you leave the glass lid off. If you print the, I'm gonna send you the print also, by the way, that I use to hold the glass lid on the side of the printer, because it also allows
Yeah.
you to hold 3 build plates on the side that you're not using as well. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to send you that file so that you can print it out and have it ready to go. It is
Good.
absolutely a game changer. Okay. Because you don't have to figure out where to put the damn lid, and you definitely don't want to keep it on
Yeah.
because that's too much, you know.
Yeah.
Now you will want to print the riser because you're going to need the light. Okay.
Yep.
Not to mention the fact that the riser, you know, you can print it any color you want, so you can totally personalize your printer by doing. I did both the riser and the arms holding the glass lid in the same galaxy purple that I've been printing so many other things in. So my
Mm-hmm.
printer is super sassy. Okay, so I mean, in that way, I've been able to personalize it, and I love that. Okay, and I
Yeah.
can't recommend it enough. Um, but in features, you are going, when you're using it, you're going to be like, damn, I wish I had this the entire time. And the slicer is so similar to Bamboo. Bamboo has very, very subtle differences from the Elegoo one. And this was something that they had updated specifically when they released the Carbon. They did not have this same clipper style slicer before the Carbon came out. So the clipper style slicer is what gives it the ability to do what the Bamboo one does. Okay. And you're going to find that it's very easy to navigate because you've already been doing it. And
that's what I'm familiar with.
I watched a video yesterday that was really helpful. As far as like reducing the amount of supports you need to print on certain angles, because I didn't even know the setting existed. The guy was like laughing, going, "No one knows this setting even exists." But there's a thing on creating precision walls, and when it creates precision walls, you can reduce the amount of supports that are necessary by quite a bit. Like legitimately, when I went to print the 45-degree angles for the desk setup that I'm printing, I was printing up 4, okay, and it wanted to print supports all the way through the hollowed out inside of it from top all the way down to the bottom, okay, and that was me clicking on necessary supports only, okay, so which I always try to do because sometimes the supports are just a massive pain in the ass, and I also put it where supports from the build plate only, like, because I hate when the supports build off of the actual material. It makes it so much harder to remove. So by creating precision walls, it only made supports for the very beginning of the curve, and the rest of the curve it didn't use them at all, and it printed out completely clean, like as if there
Hmm.
were no angles at all. It looks as good on
Yeah.
the inside as it does on the outside.
Very nice.
And that setting is in the slicer. Did not know it was there.
Hmm.
And what a great tip that was. And you know who actually uh this is a I'm going to tell you an instant hack for anyone who wants to learn about slicing software. STL Flicks, the people that I have this service through, okay? Just subscribe to their YouTube channel. They have tips and tricks. Some of them will blow your mind, okay? On how to make some prints easier, how to use less material on multi-material systems, how to create supports and separate supports in ways that make them easier to break off so that they leave less marks. They Some of their videos are absolutely fantastic. They've really just started with their tips and tricks. They had a couple before, but now their videos are so much better and so much more detailed. And like this thing where the guy is sitting there going, no one even knows it's there. You know what? He's right, because I've never seen anyone
Sure.
point that out in any video that I've watched to this point. Nobody knew that that was there, but it's
Yeah, I
there.
don't think I've heard of it either.
Um, and actually, since I'm gonna pull up my bamboo slicer and see whether or not it's in the bamboo slicer, because I honestly don't know. It's in the, I want to say, the quality section. No, I don't need that. Okay. So you go to prepare, and then under quality, yeah, where it says precision. Let's see. It is not in the bamboo slicer,
Oh.
because he was using Orca slicer. But when
Mhm.
I looked um in the Elegoo slicer, and I go to prepare, which I'm waiting for that. Let's see. No. Okay. I go to precision, and let's see. Actually, I don't. Why don't I see it? I saw it before. Or was it because I had supports checked? Maybe. Okay, I'm gonna check supports. Go back, and then. Oh yeah. Okay. So let me go back to the bamboo, see if that does it, because I turned on supports on the Elegoo, and that's when the thing popped up under the precision. Okay, so I'm gonna enable supports. Go back to
Hmm.
quality, and then under precision. Oh, it's still not there. Okay, but on the Elegoo slicer, under precision, there's a thing you can turn on that says precision wall, and when you turn that on, it separates like what he showed essentially. Let's say that you have okay, you have, I need to be able to see what I'm doing. Okay, so you have your inner wall, and you have another inner wall next to it. Okay, almost like a Venn diagram where they slightly intersect with each other. And
Yeah.
normally your outer wall would also slightly intersect like this. Okay. So the outer wall itself doesn't build as strong because it is melting in with this wall. Okay. So
Hmm.
it's actually hanging loose because it didn't build its own like body. Okay. But
Yeah.
when you do the precision wall, it actually creates its own space and reinforces itself that way. So then it's not hanging, it's actually building on itself, and that's what makes it stronger. Okay? Because it's separated from
Interesting.
the inner wall. And
Hmm.
as a result, the inner wall that it printed is solid, just like the outer wall is solid. Okay? Um and yeah. So that was something I learned, and they had great graphics to explain why it works the way it did. Mind
Yeah.
blown, because I only used, instead of using an equal amount of support material to what I printed, I used,
Hmm.
I think it was, uh I want to say it was like 200, for all four it was like 240 grams of filament, and instead of using another like 268 grams of filament for the supports, which is what it was telling me to do, it used like 45 grams. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. So much
That
less.
saved you a lot.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Which is a massive difference. And also, I only had to remove 2 supports from the inside, right where the curve started, versus having to remove supports that went all the way up throughout the
Yeah.
entire inside of the print. So,
Mm. Well, that's cool. I'll have to check that out too. I can always use some tips.
yeah, I mean, it's shocking what some people know that other people just don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so much detail to this kind of stuff too, especially with slicers and whatnot. Different settings and different effects. It's like it's great to have somebody that has the experience
Yeah.
making stuff like that. And especially like I kind of find sometimes it's hard. I'll find videos on something
Mhm.
and it's a much older video. I
Yeah.
think because a lot of the content creators have been around doing this for a long time.
Yes.
So from their perspective, it's like, well, I made all these videos like years ago, so I'm not going to remake the same thing over and over. But then it kind of also gets buried in YouTube's search algorithm then when you're looking for that stuff because it's like, oh, this stuff is 3 or 4 years old, so they don't put it anywhere near the top, on the top page.
Well, because all the printers I'm using came out within the last year and a half to 2 years, I don't watch any videos that are older than like a year, maybe a year and a half,
Mm.
because the software has changed so much between then and now.
Yeah.
Um, that I found a lot of the stuff just is kind of pointless. When I was trying to figure out how to get the PETG off my build plate, most of the videos were 5 and 6 years old, and
Yeah.
the build plates are different now than they were back then. Um,
Yup.
a lot of the printers didn't even have flexible build plates; they were solid, like rock solid. So
Mhm.
you it wasn't the same process. It's not even the same material. So like most of the videos I watch, if it's more than a year and a half old, I'll look for something else. Um, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's come a long way.
Yes,
I remember
indeed.
seeing videos of like people doing prep for build plates and stuff, and they're like, they'd show the printer, and their shot of the printer is the build plate is held in place by those like binder clips that you
Yes.
get for like
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
stacks of
Yeah.
paper, and they're using like what was the other one I saw? It was sticky notes, and they were using sticky notes to like check the bed leveling.
To level the build plate. Yeah. In
I
fact,
was like, man,
there are people who still do that with the resin printers, even though most of the resin printers
hmm,
are auto zeroing, not auto leveling. Okay, we'll make that distinction because I've seen that in multiple
hmm,
videos. They're auto zeroing. So even if the plate itself is not level because it's zeroed out, it doesn't matter what angle it's out technically or at, as long as it's not an extreme angle, it'll still print evenly as long as it's auto zeroed. Okay, because it builds off the orientation, not necessarily off of a flat angle. So
huh,
like
interesting.
it could be slightly off. Like if you were to actually undo screws and level it using the paper method, and uh, it would zero out at the level that you set. That'd be great. That's fine because then you're level and you're zeroed out. But as long as it's not too far off, it can auto zero at whatever angle that it's sitting at, whatever orientation it's sitting at, as though it's level. Okay. And because of that, and you have to realize with it only works with like a resin printer because things hang from it, not necessarily where something is printing down on top and going upward. And
Yeah.
it could only do an auto zeroing like that because it's dangling, you know? So it's dipping it into as long as it's going in at the same angle every single time, it can just build the layers like that without any kind of issue.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be 100% level. It just has to
Mm,
be like, it could be like this, where it's slightly off level and still print up perfectly, you know?
mm-hmm.
Because most of the prints you do in resin printing that I've seen, you don't print directly to the build plate anyway. It's done with supports. You print
Oh,
a
okay.
bunch of supports that then hold it in place while it's printing.
Huh.
Um, Now, if you're doing a bust like the Malgus, you would probably do the Malgus flat to the build plate. But for like the
Hmm.
miniatures and for a lot of the statues, unless it has a base built into it, you don't print that base. I mean, you don't print it flat to the build plate anyway. You're printing it at an angle so that it does the most detail and reduces the layer lines as much as possible with your
Yeah.
anti-aliasing and stuff like that, but still keep the detail. If you did it straight up
Ah,
and down, then all the weird angles would show, okay, and it doesn't look as good.
Mhm.
Because you print at an angle, it then softens the layers that way, so that you don't get
Hmm.
those exposed layer lines. That's one of the reasons why it's so appealing to print with resin. Um,
Hmm.
I did, by the way, see someone hinted that there's a video out there. I have not found the video, but a guy has figured out how to take resin supports and print them
Mhm.
on his FDM printer. Okay, where
Huh.
those pencil thin supports that they use in resin, he was able to
Mhm.
create that on his FDM printer. And I don't know if he's trying to do FDM the same way he does resin, but if he can, that is a game changer, because I would love to try that. Because
Yeah, that would be really
those
cool.
supports, if they don't come off completely, you can just go in with some flush cutters and literally just snip them off, and do
Mhm.
very light sanding to clean up the surface. So,
Yeah, that would be neat. I'll have to try and hunt for that too,
uh,
just to see.
it's in one of the recent faux hammer videos where he mentioned, uh, and I think it was it six in a one piece or six in a, I forget the dude's name, but I'm pretty sure that's the name of the guy who did the video on the supports. He's a bit of a nut job, but he knows a lot about resin printing. So
Mhm.
like he would be one of these people that would come up with that. All right, so we just passed the 2 hour mark, or I just passed the two
Mhm.
hour mark. I think you're
Yep.
probably a couple minutes short, or right around there.
Yep.
All right,
Almost there.
so I think this is probably a good place to wrap it up, so that you can get what you need to get done, and I can get my dogs to the vet, so that
Yeah.
I can then focus the rest of my day without having to worry about whether or not they're following me all over the place and going areas they're not supposed to.
Yeah.
Um, all right, so anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think I'm wrapped up too. That's everything that I had to discuss.
Okay. I'm amazed that we did 2 hours, but at the same time, now that we've done it, I'm like, wow, we had a lot to talk about, or I had a lot to talk
Yeah.
about out of this. Sometimes I can't shut up.
Yeah.
Anyway, the for anyone who's watching on YouTube, I mentioned this at the top of the stream, but you weren't here yet. Uh, anyone who watches this on YouTube, please leave a comment. Okay, even if it's just a thumbs up or a thumbs down, comments will help us know what you found interesting, stuff you'd like us to talk about more, uh, or features that you'd like us to focus on, things like that. Um, some of our videos have gotten a decent amount of views, but legitimately no comments. Okay. So any comments would be extraordinarily helpful. Also, liking, subscribing, ringing the notification bell would also be great, because that would show YouTube that someone's watching, and they might try and push us out to more people, which would be great. Plus, then you'd know when we post our new videos. So that would be absolutely amazing. If you are the person who's listening on one of the podcast streaming services, okay, I want to thank you for listening on either um, uh, iHeartRadio, Amazon Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or Amazon Prime. Wait, did I mention Amazon? I mentioned Amazon. What was the other one? It was Spotify.
Oh,
Spotify.
yeah, Spotify.
So, um, which by the way, I think on Spotify we cracked the top 40. I think we're like 39th of printing podcasts that people listen to,
Cool.
something like that. And one of our shorts finally broke the 700 mark,
Oh,
700 view mark.
nice.
So that was something.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's good times.
I don't know that I'm going to get this out before we leave. I'm going to try tonight to get this pushed out to YouTube,
Mhm.
but I can't guarantee it. If that's the case, then it'll go up right after I get back. So either way, um, that's pretty much it. And oh, what was the name of the follower that you got at the beginning of the stream?
Reho both.
Okay, so thank you for following Shiggles. Hopefully, you found
Yeah.
something that you can use, or you found interesting, and you want to come back and listen some more the next time that we're on. Make sure to keep your eye out for his schedule. Also, I don't know if you have a link to the Discord server on your channel, but if so, maybe he wants to join the Discord server.
Mm.
Check out anytime we post our prints. Um, and that's pretty much it. So for Shiggles and myself, I guess the only thing I have to say, if you're not 3D printing,
Then what the hell are you doing?
exactly. All right. Have a great week.
All right, have a good one, everyone. We will be back later.